Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Walking David. I'm David Grayson. I'm going to be your host for this evening, and I'm joined with my good friend Alec Brown.
Woo!
And of BrownCast Ultra. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe to his channel. Good stuff, a lot of movie reviews and things of that nature. Hold on just one moment. I'm exiting out of this other app where I can see us.
But then we could watch us while we're watching us.
Where'd it go?
Be the most meta thing.
Where'd it go?
Where'd it go? Just minimize that. But
There we go.
There you are. We see each other again.
About to say, I was really scared. I thought you were gone. But don't ever leave me.
Just don't leave me, you're too.
Well, this is my first ever live stream, and I gotta give a quick shout out at the very beginning to Phil the Issues Guy, Joe Dirty Locks, and Katie Crow for inspiring me to want to do a live stream. You guys, you do it the best, so I figured I might as well emulate the best. And for fair warning, Alec and I are going to be discussing Independence Day 2 and spoiling it.
Also, Free State of Jones. I'm gonna spoil that too.
Free State of Jones.
But you don't have to see Free State of Jones, so.
You don't. Alec wouldn't recommend it.
I gotta hide all the labels here.
Yeah.
So no one knows what I'm drinking because we're not sponsored.
Yeah. I got this green tea here. There we go. But, okay, so I say we get right into it. And if you guys, if you want to comment, ask questions, I believe we have all the apps necessary enabled for you to do so. So go ahead and just chat with us.
Or don't.
Or don't. I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to, lose sleep on it.
I'm going to lose all the sleep on it. So, you want me to start off with Free State of Jones?
Well, let's hold off on that because I wanted to jump into the Independence Day because the Free State of Jones is something that I didn't even see yet. So I don't think this discussion is going to be as long. So let's start off with the meat of it, and let's do
Independence Day Resurgence.
Resurgence, yes. And now I'm surprised they just got Independence Day Reboot.
Pretty much.
I mean, like, they didn't even bother with
Independence Day again.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. It's the thing about Independence Day in the first movie, I think we should talk about that for a little bit, too.
Okay.
What we liked about the first movie and how the second one did not hold up to that same standard. What did you like about the first movie?
All right, so with the first movie, the strong points to it. Now, one, it's a silly summer movie. So, and this new one is also a silly summer movie, and that's one of the criticisms I've heard is like, well, the first one's stupid, so why does it matter if the second one's stupid?
Yeah.
But the difference is Independence Day, the first one, in what makes it really good and why I enjoy it as a whole product is it encapsulates the time it came out. It is an extremely 90s movie when like everything was just going great and there wasn't really any like big threat to America at the time.
Yeah.
So it's just this movie. It's like, it's about how fucking awesome we are as like a country. I mean, there's a scene where it's like the Americans have a plan and someone goes, thank God, what do they want to do? Thank God the Americans have a plan.
Yeah, well, also
us stinky Europeans, we can't fight aliens.
Yeah, we have like Independence Day seems to have a real problem with Europeans defending themselves.
They can't.
Is that a reference to like?
It's not possible. Those darn Europeans.
It's not even very subtle. Spoiler alert: in Independence Day 2, London just gets destroyed completely.
Yeah. Is that really a spoiler? I mean, it's in the trailer.
It is in the trailer, but it's just like, if you couldn't tell, if you're not like a landmarks, expertise, because Jeff Goldblum in the trailer, he's just going, oh, they like to get the landmarks.
As like a wink to the audience, and you're like, shut up, Jeff.
Shut your fucking
But you could
face.
say, David, that London's bridge really fell down.
I hate you. Oh, God.
So, but going back to what I was saying with the first one, it encapsulates perfectly the time we were at as a people. And it's really fun. It's really jovial. to quote Lindsay Ellis, who known as the nostalgia chick for a while on the internet. She described it as the fun-pocalypse.
The fun-pocalypse.
And that's kind of what it is. It's like, even though like millions of people are dying and stuff, like Will Smith is still running around goofing it up, you know, going, can't smoke our cigars yet because we haven't won.
Well, also, if you guys remember,
Randy Quaid's like, planes.
Well, Randy Quaid's the best part of that movie. And like, as much as you might think he's a lunatic now, it's because of his craziness that he was such a fun person to watch.
Yeah.
So it's because what a stupid thing. Like, we're going to let this drunk save the planet. Like, that would be an American story.
Hello, boys.
Yeah, I'm back. Like, I'm surprised, like, as he was going up, like, they didn't, like, do like an honest trailer when he's, like, going up and it's going, I'm coming up. I want the world to know.
If only Team America had come out around that time when he's flying up, it would have been America. Fuck yeah!
Go ahead and save the motherfucking day, yeah.
Randy Quaid.
Fuck yeah! that's the tagline of this show is Randy Quaid. Fuck yeah! That's gonna be in the tags later.
But
can't find the episode, type in Randy Quaid. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, what did you enjoy about the first one?
For me, I had never seen such a well depicted view of what it would look like if New York was getting just blown up by this big mothership, or sort of, I guess, terraformed.
Well, I just imagine they were blowing shit up.
Blowing shit up. Okay, because, you know, in the second one, they have a different thing that they call it. But in the first one, we're just led to believe that they're just blowing everything up. And they're there for no other reason other than just to piss us off.
Yeah.
So we got in their fucking galactic way.
Yeah. Which argumentably is a better thing. You know, I'll get into that when we get to the second one. But keep that in mind. That, like, the first movie's real thing was like what you said. We were just in the fucking way.
Yeah, and because it was like, we don't know why they're here. It's like, look, it's good that you don't know why they're here. Because if it was realistic enough, like if this actually happened at some point and aliens came by, do you really think that they're going to like talk to us like Zod and like Man of Steel? Like, you are not alone. I am here for only one of you. I'm here for Jesus Christ, you know, like, or what? What? Zod, oh my God! What if that fucking happened? That'd be a great movie.
Zod, I don't know what to tell you, man.
The aliens are here for Jesus.
We really fucked that one up. You know, that was like a theory with Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
What?
Was that like Jesus was one of the aliens with the Crystal Skull, and we killed him, and that's why, like,
I already hate
thing?
I already did. Just when you said Indiana Jones, I was like, "Where's this going?"
No, that really was like an idea at one point. Well, like, oh, Jesus was a Crystal Skull alien.
Well, let me stop you for a second. Let me answer your question. You're saying, what did I like about the first one? But seeing how the destruction was portrayed and how just extensive it was is what I liked, because I thought that was it showed. I mean, it didn't show like gore really, but it showed hundreds of thousands of people implied deaths. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like this was a huge tragedy, and when they left, you could justifiably assume that millions of people were dead.
Yeah. Also, I mean, at the time, you'd never seen anything really like that before, where like the White House gets blown up.
Yeah, well, then that's become like a staple of even like parody movies, and even just the idea of simple stuff like, what is it, like White House has fallen or something?
I think it's White House has fallen, or White House down, maybe.
White House down. If it's White House down, that's so fucking obnoxious. Like Black Hawk's down, it's just White House down. But I'm trying to see if I can pull up the chat. I don't see anybody in the chat room.
I don't think anyone wants to talk to us.
Pete, come on. I'll do a Littlefinger impression. You wait. I might just...
David, I don't think anyone wants to chat with us.
Harvey Fierstein, who brought you here?
Independence Day 1, that's what Independence Day 2 was missing, was Harvey Fierstein.
Why Why did I tell my mother to go to Atlanta?
David, everyone go to the basement. We're all going down to the basement.
Honestly, and in all honesty, people, if that guy told you, let's go to the basement, even if he was being serious, would you go?
I would. I'd talk, if that was my boss, I'd talk exactly like him every day. He'd be like, Alec, and I'd be like, what?
What? Well, you're such a fucking idiot. But I don't know. Also, I thought, what was the name of the actor who was the president?
Oh my God.
Yeah, right? Okay,
remember.
I don't know either. Let's see. Which one's...
Right there, IMDb.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
We're doing our research.
I have a second monitor for research purposes.
Yes. Okay, let's type in. If Independence Day doesn't pop up. There we go.
There we go.
Is it Bill Pullman?
It might be Bill Pullman. One would
I'm not even gonna... It is Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman, there we go.
Oh, and by the way, Bill Pullman looks exactly like Randy Quaid in this movie to me. Like if you've ever seen Randy Quaid currently,
so like Bill Pullman in
the movie
looks like real life Randy Quaid.
Yeah, because Randy Quaid went off the fucking deep end. Like he was like fucking his wife in front of people with like a George Bush mask, going like, "Hey, I like it in the bush," or like saying weird shit. He's like this.
I like it in the bush.
Well, he does. Okay, so
like it in.
Okay, so this is Bill Pullman, right? Now, I'm going to show you, let's see, Randy.
When he orgasms, he goes, jab! Exclamation point. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Okay, like, I got to fly this ship into this thing. What has he done lately? Oh my God, he just stopped flat out.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, because I remember now, he was thinking that the Illuminati was trying to kill him.
Ah.
He went off the deep end.
Well, safety's important. The Illuminati, they're kind of assholes.
You gotta get your essential figures.
Yeah.
Obama, Bin Laden, Randy Quaid.
He's what are you talking about? He's at the top of the list because he knows the truth.
He's read the documents. I mean, how come you can't ask questions anymore? All I do is ask questions. I mean, first you have people coming in going, Independence Day is not a documentary. And I go, have you seen it? Where's New York? I've never been to New York. It's because New York doesn't exist.
Jesse Ventura just believes New York is God.
Listen, what if I told you that in Papua New Guinea there was, Jesus had come back, but if you didn't see it yourself, you'd be like, I don't believe that he has come back.
I just like the thought of like Jesse Ventura won't go to New York or DC.
I won't go anywhere that I can't walk or take a surfboard.
It's like his agent's calling him, Jesse, we have you booked. Why aren't you in New York? You think this is a joke?
Look, it's
not there.
Look, listen, I love how we're doing old telephone thing. We have telephones here. Here's your prop.
My shittier phone.
Yeah. Answer the phone.
Look, Jesse.
Go for governor.
Jesse, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in New York interviewing on NBC.
Listen, I set off the metal detector here because the TSA feels that I'm a possible terrorist threat.
Well, Jesse, I've told you about bringing knives on the plane. They just won't let you do that anymore.
I didn't bring knives. Okay. I have metal in my body. And I don't feel, as a former governor, I don't feel that it's my job.
I love how I'm looking at you while I'm on the phone. I should
just, look, I don't feel like it's my job to have to defend myself. I mean, I was the governor of Minnesota for like 4 years.
Jesse, I feel this bit is falling apart.
I think it is.
Okay. Wait, my phone wasn't even on.
The bit is falling to pieces.
Don't they all fall to pieces?
Don't they all? So, now that we've discussed a little about the first one.
We really didn't at all.
We did, though. I mean, is there anything else you want to say? Or do you want to talk about Will Smith's stripper wife? Because, I mean, that's a highlight of the movie.
Okay,
She's dancing, and nobody's watching her because of the aliens. Why'd she even come into work today?
I'm trying to figure out.
You know, that's fucking commitment. You know? Like, that's real commitment. It's
to list all available comments. Okay, wait a second. So I have to do that.
Oh, there are people. Are there? What have they said?
No, I don't think. Hold on.
No.
These are just. I don't know if I enabled the comments now, you guys. If I haven't, let me see here. I'm trying to see if I can do all that.
If David has not enabled the comments, please storm your local police.
I'm getting told by a couple of by It's Me KLC and Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein that it's not.
Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. That's
what movie is that from?
Knight's Tale.
There you
I
go.
was about to say. Fun fact, people.
Private message, shortcuts. Okay, so I see. I have to do all this shit.
Oh God.
List of participants in the video call. Okay, I wanna do that.
All right, here we go. And this is the moment the stream crumbles to pieces.
Wait a second. Open the profile. List of specific commands. Keyboard shortcuts. I want to see all the comments. This is all available commands, but I'm looking for the comments here. If you guys know how to fix that, then absolutely just let me know, because I definitely want to see your comments as they come in and respond to your questions. So
what I was going to say was fun Knight's Tale fact to Mr. Liechtenstein there. The actor who plays Robert Baratheon is in this movie. And during one of the training montages at the beginning of the movie, when they're training, he is holding up a shield with a stag on it, which is black and green in its colors.
sorry. Oh.
Game of Thrones. They always knew. Confirmed.
Yeah, conspiracy. What if I told
R plus L equals J. Confirmed.
What if I said that R plus L didn't equal J? Okay, I just want to do that.
But I do want to get your comments. So people, if you know how to, like I said, help me fix these comments, because I guarantee you this is my first live stream that I'm doing myself and not just being a participant on somebody else's. So if you know how to fix it, absolutely tell me. I do not care.
Help him to help you.
Oh, I'm getting a message here. Oh, well, thanks. Someone tell me I don't know and send me crazy symbols. Thanks, KLC.
Dear David, I don't know. Signed, George Washington.
Well, it's like, okay, so let's at least start talking about Independence Day resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start off for the people what happens in this movie. Because like I said, people, if you have any intent on seeing it, we both advise you not to.
It's a Netflix. Like, this one's it's not horrible. It's just like, just wait for Netflix or rent it or something, because it's just not good enough to be like a straight up movie ticket price. Especially don't go see it in 3D. We didn't, and I'm glad, because 3D tickets are way too expensive for garbage. Garbage!
Oh
no. Oh no.
Sorry. I'm trying to figure this shit out, you guys. Okay, so we got all that set up, but 1 second, Alec. Well, while I'm looking this up, just start telling people about like the first few minutes of the movie, if you can remember.
Okay.
Okay.
So here we go. So it all starts out on the moon, and Liam Hemsworth and some weird nerdy guy are on a ship together, and they're working to put like a direct TV satellite dish on the moon so they can shoot lasers.
Mm.
Now the logic is like, oh, these are the lasers the aliens use. But as we find out later in the movie, they are significantly shittier than the lasers the aliens used in the first movie. Significantly. So, it's like an oh no, it almost falls over on the moon because Liam Hemsworth wasn't paying attention. But then Liam Hemsworth's great piloting saves the day, and he gets it and flops the TV dish back up so everyone can watch ESPN.
Okay, let's put it this way. For any of you who saw Interstellar, if you haven't seen that movie by now, I don't pity you. Okay? But the reason I'm saying that is that the climax of Interstellar, where Matthew McConaughey is trying to dock, you all know the scene that I'm talking about. Liam Hemsworth is doing that in the first 5 minutes of this movie, something already way more difficult than any space traveler or pilot could ever really do.
Yeah,
it's already harder than what Bruce Willis had to do in Armageddon, and he does it like
and there's not even an Aerosmith soundtrack. I don't want to close your eyes. I don't want to fall asleep. I miss you, Liam. And I don't want to miss a thing.
We should have recast ya.
Should have got Will Smith, but I'm missing.
Should have got Jesus. Okay, smartest thing on this movie's behalf, they did not pick Jaden Smith to be Will Smith.
That would have been awful.
Like, this would have been awful. Equal to After Earth, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If they had used Jaden Smith, and I'm sorry. Look, in all honesty, Pursuit of Happiness, even Karate Kid. I love Jaden Smith, but the kid's a weirdo now.
Yeah, Jaden Smith grew up into like a crazy old cat lady.
Well,
Prove me wrong.
He posts
Prove
tweets.
Me wrong, society.
He posts tweets and stuff to his Twitter where it sort of is like, sometimes I just feel like a donut without a hole. And I go,
he walks around.
All donuts have holes. If they don't have holes, then they're not donuts. And it's like, but he'll post that shit all the time. He goes, have you ever thought that if the universe is filled with time ripples, that we're all kind of living in this bacon-looking universe?
He also walked around LA in a dress for a while. So,
well, I mean, that's not that unusual for LA, but it's unusual for someone who was born into such wealth and who had such high potential to just completely go off the deep end. And the problem is that Will Smith and Jaden Smith, as much as I love them as actors, as parents, that's a whole new thing. Because in every interview that they give, they're always just like, you know what we do a lot? We just fuck a lot. They go, yeah, really messed up fucking. Like, what if you saw your parents? And your parents have sex. Everybody on some level sort of does. But what if you heard your parents just going like, in every interview, like every other day, it's like, Jaden Smith wears a dress, cut to his dad, just going, yeah, so I dressed up, her as like a cop. And you're like, what the fuck?
And then she pepper sprayed me and I went to bed. Craziest sex I ever had.
Black on black violence is not cool, people. Or sorry, caramel on black violence is not cool.
Oh, you're going to get letters.
Oh man, digital letters.
Digital letters.
I've said worse. Anybody who is watching, who watched Phil the Issues Guy, his live recap and review, that I've said pretty awful stuff. But I love you, Phil, by the way, when you're out there. Yeah, so Liam Hemsworth does this stupid asinine move, and everybody kind of goes, listen here, you maverick. Quit being such a maverick. And
then there's a stern Asian commander who's like, your methods are too unorthodox.
He's apparently a pirate, too.
Too unorthodox.
Yarg.
It's like that. You crushed 20 cars.
Get your gas in here. Yeah, and Liam Hemsworth totally, it seemed like he was trying to go for sort of this Han Solo, I don't really give a shit vibe. And I don't know, it just did not work for me.
It really did.
From the get-go, it really didn't. And then they also have this character who I don't know the guy's name. I don't remember if they said it throughout the movie. But he's supposed to be like Liam Hemsworth's best friend.
Yeah, it's the nerdy guy I mentioned earlier.
And he wasn't a bad actor, but he was really good. He was really good at seeming gay.
But he's not.
But he's not in the movie.
He has the hots for an Asian girl.
It's very weird, this space dynamic.
Like
people in space are white and Asian, and
like-
people on land are black.
I think that's social commentary. This movie's smarter than we knew.
Oh, man. Vivica Fox, no!
She tried to get in that helicopter, but the glass ceiling knocked her down.
God, that moment in the trailer where you see Vivica Fox running towards a helicopter is equally as stupid in the movie as you would think it is. She doesn't make it.
Spoiler.
I don't care if that's
spoiler of spoilers.
If you were watching this movie to see what Vivica Fox was up to, then you weren't going to this movie.
We're going to get to Vivica Fox because it's fascinating. It's like an American story, her character. So now we cut to the new president, which here's an interesting food for thought. So in Independence Day 1.
Be careful with this.
In Independence Day 1, the President Whitmore, was supposed to be this kind of like based off of Bill Clinton kind of vibe. So then in the new one, they have this lady, and I kind of believe it's like a based off of Hillary Clinton kind of vibe. And I just think that's interesting that like it's weird how that kind of worked out.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, people be like, you're wrong. So.
Okay, hey people, if you're watching right now, our Q&A section of this video is working. And the comment section, I'm not so sure. But if you post it as a question, then I can actually get to it. If you do, in fact, have a question. If not, if you could save your comment and actually leave a comment after the video is posted, that would be great. I just want to let you all know.
Yeah. All right, so the president is going to be like, hey, guys, it's been like 20 years since that horrible event. We're going to have a celebration. 4th of July. Woo!
TV's floating everywhere.
TV's floating everywhere. So then we meet, first we meet President Whitmore's daughter, who's like the press secretary.
Mm-hmm.
And then who comes walking in? I don't know the actor's name. But it is his character is the Will Smith's kid from the first movie.
God, this kid.
So, which I started laughing in the theater because to make sure that the audience knows who he is, he walks by a gigantic painting of Will Smith from the first movie. And it's like, Will Smith wouldn't be a part of this, but he doesn't own his likeness in the film. Bam! You're in this whether you want to or not, Will.
Yeah, I don't know how they ironed that out, or they just go, look, dude, we'll give you $100K if you just let us use your picture.
So is it Jesse T. Usher? I think.
Yes, I believe so as well.
Dylan Hiller.
Dylan Hiller.
Dylan
Hiller. Man, there's so many things that we got to get to. I didn't know that's how you spelled Oaken, like Dr. Oaken. Okay, but anyways, so continue. After we see the mural, we then have some exposition where I'm sorry, it's not exposition. They left out the central exposition to this because Liam Hemsworth and Jesse T. Usher's characters have a huge conflict where basically, I guess, in a training program, they had Liam Hemsworth almost killed him during some sort of air demonstration.
Yeah.
And it's not really explained any further than that. They just keep talking about it, but they never showed it, and they never showed them being friends prior.
Yeah, so essentially it's just like someone goes, hey, Liam Hemsworth, I heard Jesse T. Usher is, because he's a super ace pilot, he's flying these new ships to the moon today.
We got him here now. So, Dylan is Jesse T. Usher's character. Liam is Jake.
So they're like, oh, hey, Jake, he landed because he flew these ships to the moon in a pan-away shot where we didn't see them fly to the moon. And so you better stay clear of him because he hates you now because you remember that time that you almost killed him. And then Dylan punches Jake in like the mess hall because he's like, "Oh, Jake, I hate you, you dick." And then the nerdy guy's like creeping on the Chinese pilot from the same squad of pilots that Dylan's a part of, and he's like, "Hey, Asian woman, I would like to take you to dinner." And she's like, "Who the hell are you, you weirdo?" Which I think is a reasonable response.
All right, so
it's a reasonable response.
Very much so.
That dude's like weird and creepy. He's weird and creepy. He's like staring at her through glass and stuff because there's this big misnomer in movies. If you stalk people, that means you love them.
Yeah, this movie, it definitely treaded on some really shaky topics, but I mean, it wasn't a big deal, honestly, but it was just an eye roll because keep in mind, in this movie, the premise is aliens come back with even more firepower and vinegar in their mustaches. It's such a weird phrase that I picked. Vinegar in their mustaches, that old chestnut. But they come back and they're pissed. They're pissed. They're back. And they're pissed.
This summer, aliens come back and they're pissed off.
When are aliens ever not pissed at us? Like, I think that's kind of just understood, but and they had a lot of those cheesy lines that I think they were intentionally trying to make lines that were quotable. Like there was a line where they're going, Madam President, which is interesting to hear, but they just go, Madam President, the alien ship is landing over the Atlantic. And they go, what part of the Atlantic? And a guy goes, all of it.
All of it. All of the Atlantic.
That's when they like should have put like a John Cena like a like come out through the thing.
What part of the Atlantic?
John
No.
Cena.
It's like they're over the Atlantic. What part? All of it. But so going back to the story, so then suddenly out of like a warp, like wormhole, warp drive, this big like ball ship comes up and stops in front of the tiny moon base, and then the humans are like, let's shoot it down.
Except I will say Jeff Goldblum, who's like, that's not them. That's a different one.
But everyone's like, let's shoot it down, and they shoot that fucker down.
Yeah, that was the age. I love that's his do your Asian commander voice just now.
Let's shoot it down. It's perfect, dude.
Yeah, what flawless. Is the name of that Asian commander?
It is Flawless. That's
his name is. That would be cool. So he's kind of like 2 Chainz in that regard.
Good luck finding who he was.
Yeah, I guess they don't even consider him like on the front page list.
Nope. He dies nameless. Instance.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, so they shoot it. They shoot this big orb that Jeff Goldblum's like, don't shoot that. And they shoot it immediately after he says that. They go, fuck you, we're shooting it.
Which it's also, one, your impression's not right because you have not near mumbled enough.
Oh yeah, because Jeff Goldblum is inaudible in 90% of this movie.
Yeah, he's just like...
The only thing that... He's kind of like a Christopher Walken now. He sort of just goes like, aliens, oh, Dad, like that was the clearest thing that he said, I think, in the whole movie. He goes, Dad.
Yep. So they shoot it down. So then we should do a little bit of backtracking. But so we go back. Jeff Goldblum has been in Africa at somewhere in Africa, and is hanging out with this like warlord. And they noticed one of the only ships from the first movie that landed, even though never mentioned in the first movie. And I thought the whole point was they blew up everything in the first movie. if they just left this ship hanging out and like, the Africans can fend for themselves, fuck them. That's kind of the mentality I was getting. It was like, the ship landed and the Africans fought the aliens in a brutal, like ground war, you know? Fuck them. No one help them. We have planes and laser guns, but fuck them. Fuck them. So he's hanging out with a warlord. So then Jeff Goldblum's like, okay, I need to get Jake to come down and bring me a ship so that I can go to the crash site of the giant, like, ball ship. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of stupid because it's like, okay, so I guess he called Jake, like, out of, like, in some scene we didn't get to see and told him, hey, come pick me up, bro. Because also, why would Jake know, you know, Jeff Goldblum? Why would he know Jeff Goldblum? Why would he know him?
Everybody, they kind of do explain it as everybody in this world knows everybody. And everybody can get in touch with the president. People can, just like former presidents in this movie, can just kind of, like Bill Clinton, just sort of wander into places and be like, I belong here. I was here before you were, you idiot.
Yeah. So
it's hot here, you guys.
They fly. Jeff Goldblum and Jake fly away. So cut to the president is giving a speech about the 4th of July. And who comes stumbling up but bearded President Whitmore, who in a previous scene were told that he is not taking his meds anymore. So then he just stumbles onto the stage, and one guy's like, President Whitmore! So everyone has to stop for President Whitmore.
Do you have like a cane or something?
I have a cane.
Do how he walked in. This is funny. We were talking about this the other day. This is pretty good.
So President Whitmore. He's like hobbling on stage, and he's like, I'm off my meds! Aliens are coming!
Well, yeah, hold on. I want to do it. Yeah, but I want to sit down. Yeah, so he sort of just goes like, we need to interrogate one of them. We need to interrogate it. You guys, we need to interrogate. I know you haven't seen me in years. Because we're led to believe that he's sort of been this recluse because he's so traumatized.
He's been cooped up in like a presidential nursing home. He really has. Like it's like a 1 bedroom, like with a bathroom when we see where he lives. At first I thought it was a hotel. That's how, like, you know, it's like that's how much it was. Like it's like, oh, he's in a hotel. It's like, no, he lives there.
Oh God. Yeah.
So it's like kind of weird and fucked up. They're just like, pack that crazy old president off.
Man. Yeah, it's so okay. So far we've talked about Liam Hemsworth. They shoot the ball. Jeff Goldblum is friends with the warlord.
Yeah, I know where we're going.
All right.
I got it all up
all right, go ahead.
So
I was lost.
We're back to the moon base.
Back in the New York room.
And then, oh no, the aliens come back in a bigger ship.
And by the way,
they sneak up on everyone too. This gigantic ship, like it's the size of like a 1/4 of planet Earth. And it just creeps on up the moon base. Just like, it's like literally almost like someone like, I half expected someone to be like vacuuming a rug or something in the moon base. And then they look out the window and it's like,
no, wait, you mean
a spaceship.
You mean Stan Lee in X3?
Pretty much.
My water hose.
My water hose.
I invented
the Hulk.
Spider-Man shoots webs. He really
Excelsior. Spider-Man shoots webs. Excelsior. So.
I'm getting help from Phil. Phil, you might be a lifesaver. It says, if we go to our advanced settings table on the live manager page, you should see the live chat as an option and check a box.
You know what, Phil? I like the cut of your jib.
I didn't know where he was going with that.
I like the cut of your jib, sir. But yeah, so coming back around. So here we are. The alien ship has shown up. So it is decided we're going to shoot the alien ship with our moon base gun. And guess what? It does nothing. It does nothing. It hits the alien shield and does nothing. Thus proving, when I said earlier, they're way worse than the guns on the alien ships from the first movie. Like, horribly worse. Also, they take like 1,000 years to charge and fire.
It's okay.
It's like countdown 10, 9, 8. Just shoot it. They're gonna blow. They're like 10 feet in front of you.
It's like the hardest thing about it is watching it and going like they didn't steal that from Star Wars.
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
That's the hardest part for me, is because I was just like, guys, like that wasn't even an attempt to be original there. I mean, it was so cheesy how it snuck up on them. I was waiting for like Dr. Evil to come walking out and go, "Oh, fire the lasers!" Like it was that kind of like, oh my god,
Fire with sharks with frickin' laser beams on their frickin' heads. So, lo and behold, the moon base gets destroyed. And the only survivors are Jake, Jeff Goldblum, Dylan, and the nerdy guy. And then the other pilots, like the Asian pilot. They're all the ones they get away. Everyone on the moon base is fucked. Also, this was kind of funny to me. Like, they're like, everyone, like when the aliens are about to blow up the moon base, the captain, the Asian captain, is like, everybody get below. And it's like, where are they gonna go? Like you guys are on the moon.
Yeah,
like there's no options for you.
Go inside the moon. Go deeper into the moon.
It's like you're on a moon base with limited oxygen supply. There's no saving you. You're all fucked.
Well, also, the way that people get over grief in this movie is lightning fast. Yes.
Oh, instantly. No tears are shed for anyone.
That it's true. I mean, it really is. Nobody gets that upset.
No one gets upset.
And to me, that's a little off-putting. I think it should be off-putting to most people. But
yeah, especially when you consider like how fucked things are about to get. So, Jeff Goldblum and Jake, they grab a piece from the ball ship from earlier. They grab this weird, obvious piece, and they fly it to Earth. Why that piece? Who knows?
It's the only piece they could grab in time. Lucky them.
So then the big alien ship like scratches the paint on the moon.
Because
it just scrapes across it, scratches the paint. They're going to have to, cover that under their insurance.
Which causes a major tsunami. Oh, wait, no, we don't do reasonable things.
Nope. So then it comes to Earth, and then it lands over the Pacific, and then it literally lands. Like, it causes, essentially, at first it's like, this ship is so big, the ship is so big that it has its own gravity, and as it flies over Asia to land over the Atlantic, it picks up all the cities and then drops them on Europe when it slows down, which I don't think is gravity as much momentum, it's so big, moving so fast that like you could argue maybe it's like, just the pure like wind and like the momentum of just the air and wind and energy put off from it breaking through our atmosphere. But no, they're like the gravity. And I say that only because when it lands in the Atlantic, the gravity thing stops. And it doesn't do any gravity-related, like, dangers later.
I did deny that.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of those things where it's kind of, like, weird in the sense that it just stops. And then you're just kind of like, well, I guess the gravity thing's done for.
Yeah,
so it lands.
It doesn't continue. Their gravity shut off, you guys.
Yeah, so it lands. It lands, and its landing gears like essentially like pull up the Earth, like it just rakes up the Earth. So then, as it's landing, who do we see but Jeff Goldblum's father from the first movie. And he is on his boat.
I thought you were gonna say
There's
his
a
meds.
big tidal wave coming, but he made sure to call his son and tell him about the tidal wave. And so he's running past the tidal wave in his little tugboat, and you think like, oh, there's no way he's gonna make it, and it cuts to black. So after the ship stops and it lands, everyone's just kind of standing around going like, oh shit, what do we do? What do we do? Everything's kind of fucked. So then the ship fires a laser into the ocean. Because the aliens, now we know why the aliens are here. They're here to steal our magma. Like, they're here to steal the core of the earth and suck up all that molten gooey center in order to, fuel their ships for some reason. I mean, I don't know how that quite works, but so they're drilling to the earth. So now we have the ticking time clock. Not only are they going to destroy us, they're going to destroy us by taking our magma, and then the gravitational field of the earth will stop and we won't be protected from solar radiation.
Yeah.
This kind of goes into what we were saying earlier. When we didn't really know why the aliens wanted to kill us, it's so much better. Like, I know in the first movie, the president's like, oh, they're like locusts. They take what they need and move on. But we didn't know what they needed. They could just land and have taken all our Krispy Kreme donuts for all we knew. There was no.
Give us some donuts.
Yeah, it was never assigned to what resource they needed. And this one, it's no, they need to drill to the earth to get our magma. Well, it's okay, well, why would you even bother killing humans in the first movie? This is a huge plot hole because it's okay, so in the first movie they were going to exterminate us. But the thing is it's why would you have this long convoluted plan to line up all your ships to have a universal fire mechanism from a mothership? If all you needed was to harvest the magma, you could take this huge monstrosity of a ship and just roll that up with all your smaller ships to defend it. Because the big giant harvester ship has a super powerful shield. So it just makes no sense that you would just then need to have a preemptive attack before the harvester shows up. But going back to also the theme of when you tell us why they need Earth. It then assigns this oh, well, they need Earth, we're important. It's no, it worked in the first movie because it was all about us proving how important we are. That was that was kind of a big thing, was oh man, look, we're so important that we're having to, fight the aliens and shit. Whereas in this one, it's no, they need us to fuel up, and we're just kind of, it's they need this planet, and they need this and need that. It's no, it was cooler when they're mysterious.
Well, yeah, because one thing I'm glad that they don't do in these movies is, sorry, here I'm just pulling up the Q&A.
Q&A.
Let me see. But the thing that I like is that we don't ever communicate with them. I mean, well, fuck, we do. I wish it would be more like they don't even bother communicating with us. They didn't have a way of communicating, and it was just we locked them up, and then that doctor towards the end. Well, I guess we'll get into that. But
yeah,
I'm trying not to jump around too much because we already have.
In the first movie, when we talk to them, that's a huge moment because it's we captured one of them. So it's and it's all the alien says is they're going to kill us, which was obvious. It says no peace. Yeah, it's just no, you guys are fucked. And then it tries to kill the president, and that's the whole point of it. When we talk to them later in this movie, the second one, the alien just tells them their weakness. It's like if they captured a stormtrooper in Star Wars and he was like, oh my god, there's an exhaust vent 2 meters wide. If only you didn't shoot a proton torpedo through it. It's literally that happens.
Don't hit the sweet spot.
It happens. The alien, they have like a bunch of aliens captured in Area 51, which is fucking stupid. It's like, why would you keep the aliens around when the giant mothership, like the movie tells us, they were all like in a coma. And then when the mothership showed up, the big harvester, then they all like start popping back up and are like making noises and waving their stupid tentacles everywhere. And it's like, why wouldn't you just ice them right then and there and keep one? And this is important because later on they break out of prison. It's like, just fucking gas the motherfuckers. Like, why do you need 100 of them?
I don't. That's a good question.
We're keeping imprisoned an army of aliens that are physically stronger than us. What could possibly go wrong?
Now,
Everything.
everything.
But then it tells us it's like the President Whitmore like gets it to where they recreate the scene from the first movie with the smoke and the glass, and it's retarded. And it's like, what's your plan, alien? And it's like, our queen, who is at the center of our spaceship and is really easy to kill, is coming. You know, it's just.
Well, see, here's the thing. If they had captured them and then they said, they use this thing throughout the movie where they say that, okay, well, we used their technology to help improve our planet. And if they then also said, by capturing their surviving members, we somehow were able to divulge information from them about, this stuff and how it works. That way we know that's how we're able to make the guns. That would make a lot more sense, because how would we, just by seeing a laser gun, be able to go like, I think I could recreate that. Like,
well, we don't.
It might be alien technology completely.
Yeah. Well, it's also, here's another big plot hole. So we've got all these aliens, and then we still don't know anything about them. It's like, if you have 100 aliens, that means you have 100 like prisoners / test subjects.
100 problems.
You have 100 problems, but they're solvable. It's like, why do we not have battle suits like the aliens? We're like a biological suit that we slip on, Like, why don't we have like biological like Will Smith battle suits, and you just put it on and you're just a bigger Will Smith?
Well, or suits that have shields or something like that.
Exactly.
You can drive trains through these plot holes.
Yeah.
It really is amazing how they did not bother to explain the things that were kind of crucial. I mean, they're small, but enough of them add up.
Yeah, they really do.
And a lot of it was just kind of like, if somebody was stealing 15 cents from your bank account every month, you might not notice after the first 1 or 2 months, but after 25 years, you might go like, oh, that something's off here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like recognizing that there was a phishing scheme going on, but the phishing was going on with the plot.
Yeah. It's just.
They're stealing the plot from us.
So the aliens are drilling a hole. So everyone's trying to figure out how to stop the aliens. So they lead an assault led by Dylan and Liam Hemsworth character, Jake.
Yeah.
Dylan, Jake, and the other fighter pilots. And so it's like, they are going to lead an assault of these bombers, and they're going to try and blow up the ships.
Yeah.
So then the attack, and this is a problem I have with the attack, is we have our advanced planes versus their advanced ships. Our planes are slower than jets. Like, from the first movie, and this isn't even as much like, oh, I know the technology. So no, this is like, the filmmaking was so, they were just not paying attention to this like CGI shit.
Yeah.
That like, you look back, the planes in the first movie feel like they're going as fast as jets do.
Yeah. Like
they're just zipping around everywhere. These ones feel like they're just kind of like hovering, like they're bumper car speed.
Yeah.
And it just was terrible. So you're just like watching this slow ass fight with a bunch of shit on the screen. You're just like, I don't care. I've seen this so many times.
Also, there's another moment in this show, in the movie, where the president who became the president who, I hate the fact that they changed. See, this is the problem. This movie is not easy to remember any of these people's names because it is not that good.
Yeah.
It really isn't, because good movies, I remember all their fucking names. Like Star Wars, like this, or Guardians of the Galaxy. It's stealing pennies. Thanks, Al. What's up, Al? Al, Red Sox fan. Love you, baby. Let me see.
What did Al say?
He was quoting The Office, making Office reference about stealing pennies. Because I'm still getting comments.
Yeah.
I'm just not getting live.
General Adams, played by William Finchner.
That's right. Okay, now I do like that actor, but here's the thing. There is a moment in this movie where he like turns to some like admiral or lieutenant and just kind of goes like, "All right, what's our like life statistics? Like how many people are alive right now out of the original fleet that they sent out? They sent out like 100,000 people in jets and stuff like that." And the guy goes 7%, and this is the most we get out of that. He goes 7%. And then he just goes off to something else. Like he immediately forgets about that.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel bad or anything. And then this is the dumbest thing in the world.
Well, hold on, let's get to get the story a little bit caught up. So it's like, so Jake and Dylan and all of them, they fly a bomber into there, and then it turns out it's a trap, and it doesn't work, and they all get shot down.
She knew.
And so we cut away. Also, we get a scene where the president, the lady president, is like fucking murdered by the aliens, and no one cares.
Well, not just her, everybody in her line of succession. It would be like if the president and all of Congress got eliminated, and then that dude in the small town of Tennessee was elected president.
Yeah. So continue what you're saying.
So within that context, William Fichtner's character, General Adams, of course. Why would he have any other name?
Exactly.
It's like General Abraham Lincoln.
Pretty much.
It's he is sworn in, and they actually bother when the world has minutes left. They say like the world has like an hour left, and they go, "Let's swear you in," and I'm like, "Save it for fucking later."
Yeah. He's
still a general. He's still in charge. We all get it. It's not like there's some dude in the army going, "Fuck this, I'm not going to fight any aliens for a dude who ain't even the fucking president."
Adams ain't even the president. He's just a general. What a chode.
What a chode, man. This world's coming to a fucking end, but I ain't going to fucking go down like a pussy. So he gets on a CB radio. You heard it. What? A CB radio. And communicates with the world. The world.
Yep. With the best CB radio ever. Which I was just...
You guys, this is going to define the human race. And no matter what your creed is, and there's like somebody, it cuts like a shot of someone in India just going, and just no matter what your religion is, and it it shows like a preacher going, "And the gods were behind that," and like all of these things.
I gotta say, the speeches, there was no speech in this even half as good as the one from the first movie. That is a fact.
Well,
there's
Alec,
no good speeches in this.
That's true, and we've also left out a major thing. The aliens, when they get a distress signal from one of their old crashed ships that just went off, I guess, after, who knows, 25 years or 20 years of just sitting there, it just goes off because plot and because happenings. All right, so when it happens, it shows an alien go like, "Me, T," presses button, and then it hits a button, and in perfect 1080p pops up a video of the president, like a close-up of the same scene in the first of Independence. They just go, "We will not go quietly into the night.
Yeah,
we will not give up without a fight."
They're just watching in the first movie.
Yeah, they're just watching Independence Day unfold. And then they go, "That movie was so good, we should come back and ruin it."
We need to come back and get President Whitmore's signature. He's so cool.
We need to come back, you guys, and get all these C-list actors out of here. Apparently, all the valuable people in the world had died when this movie was
Oh
made.
no! The C-list actors, they're the only ones left to save us!
Now, okay, and another thing, this is random. This really doesn't pertain to any particular part of the movie because this was a problem throughout. Let's put this stick down. I feel like we're gonna fuck around with it. Oh, well, there you go. There goes that wall. But they had a couple of characters. One who was a completely pointless, just vestigial actor who got more screen time than like half of the supporting actors.
Yeah.
And I don't remember his fucking name. It's really stupid. Like, I really didn't enjoy him at all. He wasn't funny.
Which one are you talking about?
The nerd, the guy with the glasses.
Oh, you mean the guy that had the coma from the first movie?
No, not Dr. Owen or Oaken.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the kid who's sitting in the back when Jeff Goldblum gets out of the fucking car.
Oh yeah. It's
like an IT guy is following them around the whole fucking movie.
He's some bureaucrat guy from the UN that's trying to get Jeff Goldblum to sign a paper, and then like he just tags along the whole film. He's supposed to be like the comedic relief character, but he's just like he's such a waste of time.
Yeah,
like it's literally he's just like, oh, Jeff Goldblum though, I need to talk to you. I need you to sign this. It's like, dude,
that's not him, surely.
It's like, who cares? Like, who gives a crap about like papers and stuff?
Yeah,
aliens are blowing stuff up. Who cares about you and your little shit?
Yeah, I get that they have to keep, some law and order in the chaos, but when you have 4 or 5 minutes, that's like if in the middle of that they just go, hold on, you guys, I got to look up how to fire a gun because I'm not prepared for this.
Yeah. Well, it's, even if you don't want to talk about it in the movie, just from like a story and filmmaking standpoint, it's like if you can't find something for a character to do, don't put the character in the scene. Like if you don't need this, if you have to find this guy something funny to do, like and just make him tag along, then don't bother writing him in. Make another character do it. There's an established characters that could have done this and would have been funny.
Yeah, it's really hectic trying to keep up with the plot. I mean, as you can see, we've kind of tangented it around, but it's because there's so many problems, and I will say this, the plot holes are very much like wormholes in the sense that they start in the beginning and they pop up in the end, and you're like, fuck, that plot hole's still there. Like, yeah, because it kind of disappears, and for a second you forget about it, and then it resurges, and you go, how the flying fuck did they miss that?
Yeah.
Like, this dude, like, they're about to have a war, right? Aliens are flying at them, and everyone's like, be on guard, be ready, don't fire until I say so. And for comedic sake, that nerd, who we don't even remember what his name is, he fires a fucking blaster just into the middle distance, and everybody goes, what the fuck? And then he goes, sorry. Yep, sorry, guys. I don't know how to fire a gun. I don't know how to fire. And everyone just goes,
and he becomes best friends with the African warlord in this weird line.
Did we talk about the warlord?
We mentioned him earlier, but I was going to get into that here in a second. Yeah. So, continuing with the plot. So, cities are being destroyed because of the ship landing and all the havoc it's caused. So, while this is happening, Vivica Fox...
Yes.
From the first movie. Now, I want to talk about this because this is an American story. This is like the spirit of America here. If we remember, Vivica Fox's character, Jasmine, in the first movie was a stripper, which was why Will Smith's character couldn't get into NASA because, as his friend said, they're not gonna make an astronaut out of a man who marries a stripper. So it's like a big important plot, like it's like a character point to Will Smith that he won't leave her for his career to go to space. So when we see Vivica Fox now,
I can't wait.
She is now like the head of medicine at a hospital.
Yeah, because listen, you guys, anybody who survived the first Independence Day,
It just got to be whatever they wanted.
yeah, everybody gets to be the princess and prince.
They just pulled it out of like a fishbowl, and it's like, you're the head of medicine now.
I'm surprised they didn't like just have Will Smith.
And she's like, my stage name was Cinnamon. I don't know if that was true, but might as well have been.
God.
But it's just
It is really messed up.
it's ridiculous. It's like she was a stripper before. Are you telling me in 20 years she just went to fucking med school and like knocked that out of the park in like, you know,
I also
4 years and then climbed through the ranks to be head of medicine? Is she that much of a go-getter in her life?
Well, see, she made a lot of money as a stripper, and so she could afford the college tuition.
But so that is ridiculous on itself. So then helicopters are airlifting patients out of the hospital. But Vivica Fox notices they have missed a woman who has just had a baby. There again, how did they miss this woman with a crying baby? Like, like when we see Vivica Fox and she's like, okay, you get these person here and you do this and you do this, and they're like, yes, doctor, and they all run off. And then she walks like four or five steps and there's a room with a woman with a baby. It's like they all heard the baby crying. Like they walked past this door too. So she's like, oh, I'm gonna get you out of here, one woman with a baby. It's like, what? Do you guys not have a list of patients? You're just leaving them? Not only that, woman with baby. Like, I'm sure there's a guy in there who's like, my foot kind of hurts, and you forget about him. But this like woman with
he can't run away.
This woman just had a baby. Like that, you would think that they would have gotten her out first.
Oh, Alec, I wanted to surprise you with this. That baby is the star of the next movie.
Oh, fuck you.
That baby is gonna say, I was fucking there, man. I was there, man.
I was just a baby.
I was a baby. And my mom and I barely got on the plane.
I was a baby.
I remember I was once a child. My mother passed me to this black head of medicine who I could have sworn seemed like a stripper to me, but I was very perceptive as a child. Anyways, she didn't make it. And I was inspired to myself become a black male lead in the next Independence movie.
Well, yeah, but his mom was Hispanic, so are you telling me it's like...
Hey, babies can get darker, Alec.
Okay.
The father was a black guy.
So...
Where's the father?
So Vivica Fox gets this woman to the roof, and the helicopters have left them. And the woman is being annoying and crying and going, we're gonna die! And it's
She's
like,
right.
Shut up, woman. Shut up. And so then, fucking Dylan flew over the city in his jet and sees his mother and this woman on the roof. And he yells at a helicopter to come get them. Why the helicopter was just going to fly the fuck over them, who knows? Because it was. He was like, go down there again. And the guy's like, I don't know, sir. It's like, dude, like, what are you doing?
That's my mom. You go get my mom off that building.
It's like, isn't that your job? Like, wasn't that the whole point while you're in the air? Like, your helicopters fly on like this special alien technology, so it's like not even propeller based. Like, nothing can knock you out of the sky. Yeah. You think you'd be doing like flybys, like get it, just jump in.
Just jump in.
But so
just
they
tilted it
save
on the
the
side.
so it's like tensions mounting because like the alien landing gear is like pushing the Earth up and knocking over a city.
You know how that goes.
Yep. Which, by the way, the alien landing gears don't destroy the White House because, audience. So it's not going to say. So the building, the hospital is starting to crumble. It's starting to like shake and stuff. So they load up the pregnant woman and the baby. But then, oh no, the building starts falling. And fucking Vivica Fox just falls through this crack in the building and dies.
Honestly,
Dies.
really good moment in the movie.
Good moment. And Dylan's like, Mom! And then he flies off. And then he's over it.
Yeah,
in one scene, he's like, my mom died.
Well, no, he's staring off at his locker.
He's like,
Liam Hemsworth goes, I didn't know that you'd be in here, but because the plot dictates it, I'm here now. And he just kind of goes, I'm so sorry about what happened to your mom, even though you haven't actually verbalized what happened that day.
I'm sorry, what happened to your mom?
But and you know, another thing, I get that we don't need to see characters sleep, but if there's a time jump, put a time jump, caption at the bottom, like a day later.
Because it seems like he literally went back to base and then stared at his locker, and Liam Hemsworth.
We're gonna hit that topic really hard once we get closer to the end of the movie, because I'm gonna fucking rant my ass off.
It's like, because it does seem like his mom dies, and then an hour later he's in the locker room with Liam Hemsworth going, "I'm sorry about your mom being dead."
And then he just goes, "I'll see you up there."
Yeah.
And then I go like this. Oh, my head.
But you know what this does mean? Dylan can be Batman.
Dylan is Batman. Boom.
Independence Day 3, The Dark Knight. Both my parents are dead.
My parents are dead.
I can't fly this bat plane.
This bat plane doesn't have wings.
But doesn't need
a giant bat space,
Okay.
like bat spaceship flies over the White House.
Well, I forgot. How did they get out of the
what?
mothership?
Oh, okay. So we'll just go over this subplot. So on the mothership, the pilots, everyone survived except the characters that didn't have a name. Everyone who had a name survived. So they're on this alien ship, which has a forest in it.
Its own ecosystem.
Because reasons. It has a forest. And so they're hiding out in the alien forest. And the aliens, despite their advanced technology, cannot find these, 10 humans that crashed in one area.
No, because the aliens themselves are just using advanced technology, but they're actually as stupid as children.
Yes, apparently they are.
And they have very poor aim.
Because they don't seem to accomplish anything on foot. They seem to don't accomplish anything and die really easily. So, I guess they aren't really much of a threat after all. So then all the pilots all unite, and they... By the way, we should mention Jake and Dylan are both here. We are going all over the place. Jake and Dylan were... Okay, I'll clarify. Dylan's mom dies, and then Jake and Dylan go into that fight against the alien ship.
Tell you what we'll do. For the next bit here, we're going to just talk about straight premise as close to in order as we can.
Yeah.
And then we'll hop back really quick and we'll start bitching about some of the stuff.
So, like I said, Dylan's mom dies. They get in the big fight of 10,000 people, and they fly into the ship, and it's a trap, yada, yada, yada. So we're back here in the ship. They pretty much immediately sneak through the alien forest, get to a landing dock, and steal alien ships with little to no effort.
And then the next scene, they are just walking in.
Yeah, and Jake and Dylan are best friends now.
Yeah, they've gotten over it completely. The girlfriend is happy.
So they steal ships and fly out, and so we're going to cut away from them. So now, here in Area 51, Jeff Goldblum and the president and all of them are here. And they open up that thing they took from the ball ship on the moon. And there they have an even smaller white ball that they are like...
Okay, well, this is something that I do want to address, because this
Okay.
is somewhat part of the story. Throughout this movie, when we see the aliens kind of celebrating the fact that the mothership has come back, they've gone from being catatonic to now being really active and hyper and excited. We see Dr. Oaken, who was the crazy long-haired doctor who everybody loved from the first movie.
Who was dead in the first movie. I'm going to say right now.
He was
dead in the first movie.
But also the president was supposed to be dead too. But
but I mean, I'm talking specifically, I'm almost certain in the first movie he died.
I thought
they
so.
were he's dead. I'm almost certain that happened.
And see, I don't know what their reasoning was, but I think they just, for the sake of this, it's he didn't die, but he's in a coma. And he's been in a coma for 20 years, and apparently somebody didn't decide to cut his hair at all during this time period, so it's just growing and growing and growing. It's even longer than it was in the first movie. And he looks exactly the same. When he he actually is a huge part of this movie, and surprisingly not one of the leads. You think that it would almost be based around him and the president from the first one to get everybody to come back and watch it. But
not at all.
What happens is that because he was kind of touched, sort of Game of Thrones, Bran-esque, he was sort of touched by these aliens. He had access to their collective brain, and so he has all of these kind of alien hieroglyphs and language and equations kind of put into his head. And so he kind of scrolls all this shit on the walls, and people are like, man, he doesn't even remember doing any of this stuff. And he starts walking around this fucking Area 51 or whatever, and he's like pushing people out of the way, like, you guys need to get out of my fucking way while I do my science. And then he just goes, give me my laser from 1994. It was banned for a reason. And then everyone goes, sure, guy that we haven't seen awake in 20 years, not a problem. And he lasers it open. That's where he gets the orb out of. And it does look like that. It does look like a white orb just kind of hovering there. Basically, that non-important character that we keep mentioning, the one that has glasses, who's just kind of a nerd and is like the weird IT guy, he, for some reason, touches it, even though it's alien technology and it could be radioactive, they don't know anything. He just touches it, and it swallows his hands in, and it boots up like an iPod and just kind of goes, you've activated my sensitive walls button, like, or whatever.
And it's like, I know English now because plot.
Yeah, I know English because I know millions of languages. And it's like, okay, okay, whatever. So,
okay, I'm ready for this one. So the orb now begins dumping exposition. And here it goes. The orb is part of a race of computer aliens that have been collecting species from planets that have been destroyed by the harvester ships. And it's going to collect them and then lead a resistance movement. And it had come to Earth to pick up as many as possible of us and take us out of there, because there's no way that anyone can beat these aliens, even though we've beaten them before. There's no way now we can beat them because they have a slightly bigger ship. So it's like, oh, you're all going to die. Also, if the queen alien catches me on Earth, then it's going to find out where the rebel base is and fly the Death Star over to destroy it. Come on, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it was.
And so they're like, oh no, we've got to hide this giant robotic testicle from the alien queen
before it dumps its digital sperm into our mouths.
That was a digital sperm. So this is when Jeff Goldblum, that smart motherfucker Jeff Goldblum, comes up with a plan. He mumbles forth. What we can do is replicate the electronic signature of the white orb to trick the aliens. And then we will lure the queen into this force field trap and blow her up with missiles.
Okay.
Or with bombs.
To bounce off of this. Basically, the reason that this was a thing was that inside the mothership, when the planes first went in there, a couple of the characters who didn't have a name had these little bug things that kind of flew up that were alien technology, kind of like IEDs, and they kind of blew them up. And then they also had the ability to blow things up and then keep confined the explosion in an orb. Now, we apparently, since we tapped into their technology, we have similar things on Earth, and we actually have a huge one that if we were to set off like a nuclear bomb, it could keep the blast contained. So when Jeff Goldblum's idea, like he said, was to try to copy the signal that will attract the queen to come to us. When she comes to us, we'll fill that bomb with explosives. It'll explode. The queen will explode, but will contain the blast, and we'll win.
Yeah. So we're going to take a slight tangent here, because before we get to the final battle, we have to talk about a very important storyline involving Judd Hirsch.
Oh my God.
So,
Okay, so
Judd Hirsch survived the tidal wave. So we see these children in a car driving through the ruins of like Louisiana.
it's completely
destroyed, but it's still accessible by like a hatchback station wagon.
There's also a perfect trail for the car to drive.
Yeah. And then these children are driving through death and destruction, and one of the kids, they're like, "Oh, our parents are dead."
The kid's like, "Shut up, I'm trying to drive."
And then they see, and then they're like, and then some kid goes, "Look, there's a man on that boat who's still alive."
And Judd Hirsch is just
dangling from a seat asleep because he's an old man. He's like,
with his book that's titled How I Saved the World.
Yeah, which is in perfect condition. His boat is destroyed, the book is okay.
By the way, this is like he rode Hurricane Katrina in, like, with no protection.
Like 10 miles over land and was okay.
Yeah, boats getting tossed around, and he also had the strength, I guess, to climb up a ladder and then sit precariously in a lifeguard chair that you sit on the edge of a boat with, and then just chill up there until somebody found him.
So then these kids find him, and they put him in their car. So then we have a couple tiny scenes where he's like imparting his old Jewish wisdom to these children.
Yep.
And he's helping them through life crisis. So then he then picks up also, they drop by and they see there's a school bus with children and the bus driver left. No.
And as the kids said in the movie, they had a kid say it, they go, he left to go have sex with his girlfriend in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Now, they're in Arizona. Not Louisiana, they're in Arizona. And they went from it being completely flooded to be completely desolate.
Well, no, they drove to Arizona. That was the thing. Like, they got to Arizona.
Because those states are close together. They're right next to each other. You know.
Like 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours, and they were low on gas the entire time. That's what they said.
So the children, what
oh my God, wait a second. That just reminded me of something. I drove all the way here with like a low tank of gas.
Nice.
Because my light came on before I got here. It's like a 40-minute drive. Sorry, we were talking about driving, and I was at the low tank of gas, and that just reminded me. I should go get some gas.
Ooh, gas time.
Gas time with David.
So Judd Hirsch says, well, you know what? I'm gonna take these kids I found and these other kids I found, and we're gonna get on the bus and we're going to Area 51.
Because he knows where that is.
Yes. So he loads up the bus full of children. With the bus still has the keys and a tank of gas, and they go. So we're gonna get. So remember that he's got a bus full of children. Moving on, back to the plot.
Moving on, the Jews.
So
fans.
The plan is getting set up.
Yeah.
And General Adams, William Fitchner, is like, okay, this mission is a suicide mission because we can't detonate the bombs remotely. You have to do it in the cockpit, and you won't be coming back. So at first,
the only way to press this button.
At first, the president's daughter, Patricia Whitmore, is like, I'll fly the mission. I was a pilot before. Because earlier in the movie, we just saw a picture of her in a pilot's outfit. We didn't actually. And she's like, I was a pilot. I'll do it. And then we hear, no. And then who comes walking the fuck out? But President Whitmore. He's just like, no, I'll fly this ship. I'm off my mess. It's literally almost.
Every character's a pirate.
It's literally almost like. I mean, if this had happened, it would not have changed the scene. She could have been like, I'll fly the plane. And then he goes, get out of the way, woman. I'm flying that plane.
Yeah, and then it happens again later on, and a black guy just comes out of nowhere and just goes, hey, can you come with me? I just need to get my SAC card really quick. And he goes off into this
with the president's daughter. He tricks her into this little office while the president gets in the plane, the spaceship. He's never flown before. He flew jets in the Gulf War. He's never flown an alien plane. So he just takes to it like a duck in water.
No. Because the aliens had tapped his brain.
Oh, shut up.
And that's how you explain that.
Oh, fuck off. He takes to it like a duck in water. Once you ride a bicycle, you never forget how to fly. So, pretty much, he's just like, I'm flying this plane. And so he goes.
We're going to space.
We're going to space. And so they go and do it, and he flies the decoy out. So here's where the biggest plot hole and the thing that drives me nuts happens. So we have the giant harvester, and it's drilling into the earth to get magma. So now when it gets the core of the earth, we all die, which means there's no humans to protect the big robot testicle from the queen. But rather than wait the hour it's going to take, because, by the way, they can't beat the harvester ship. It's too big and too powerful. It has more guns than fucking necessary. So they can't beat this ship. It's indestructible. That's why it's so dangerous. So the queen alien, which is just a bigger version of the aliens. It's not different in any way. It's just bigger. It has its own ship in the center of the harvester, and it detaches from the harvester. It leaves the indestructible planet-sized fortress it is in to fly with like 100 fighters to Area 51 to go chase this thing. So it's chasing them while also drilling into the earth. Why not? You could just drill into the earth and kill us. And then just take the robot thing.
No, but what? Then why did we have Jeff Goldblum?
They could just blow up the planet and destroy the robot.
Alec, it's not a short film. We have to make it 2 hours long.
We have to make it 3 hours long in the director's cut.
In the director's cut, yeah.
So it leaves the ship to fly over. It's like, why? Don't even leave the ship. Don't even leave. And it's going to get worse later on. So the Queen's ship flies over, and it attacks Area 51, and then it starts chasing the president and stuff, and then so we cut to Jeff Goldblum is setting up the trap, and all the cars are aligned, and they're ready to go. And he sees the big ship is coming, and he's like, all right, here we go. But then, what's that there? What's that driving through the desert there with no road?
Is that a bus?
Is that a school bus full of children driven by my father?
That's what he says.
Yeah.
He fucking does that. He just goes, down? Like I said earlier. Remember I said that earlier?
Yeah.
He just goes, down?
Yeah, so it's literally like Judd Hirsch just drives into the scene with a bus full of children.
In the midst of something that obviously looks suspicious. He
just saw the destruction of Area 51 and just was like, let's keep going through. So the trap is activated, and the president blows up the alien, the mothership. But then, oh no, the queen wasn't killed. The queen is dead, but the ships are still attacking. I wonder why. Queen's not dead. So they're all like, whoa, we killed the queen. And then out of the rubble, the queen emerges in her giant battle suit, which is fucking stupid because it's like, so the queen gets out of the rubble of the spaceship. Also, just stay in the rubble. Like, don't even leave the rubble. You're safe under the rubble. Wait till they all go and you're safe.
You don't know that. What if they attack the rubble? It could happen. So anyway, she gets out and she's got a vest on.
She gets out, she has a shield vest and a gun. Like, the queen just has a gun. Like, it's just, It's like if you, in Photoshop, when you do the expander tool to make something bigger,
Yeah.
they just took a gun, like all the guns that everyone else has, including the humans.
Yeah.
And they just, bigger gun. So she's just shooting a single shot gun at like, pew, 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 at this.
Just like a woman.
At these fighter jets. So the president's daughter is like, I'll kill you, alien queen. And the alien queen starts chasing Jeff Goldblum and the bus full of children. And it's like, well, thank God the alien queen is so easily distracted by a small bus. It's so vengeful. The alien is so vengeance-driven that it has to chase the bus of the supposed activators of the trap. Like, there's a jet shooting at her. By the way, Jake and Dylan show up in stolen alien ships and start shooting at her too.
Yeah, and they join this thing, and they kind of join like the swarm of her ships or whatever, and her shields, they get caught in this autopilot spin, and they have like the dumbest solution to get out of it. They go, by going faster, we'll get out of it. It's like, oh, I'm sure nobody thought of that.
So essentially, the alien queen eventually stops chasing Jeff Goldblum and starts going after the big robot testicle because she finds out that it's actually back at Area 51 because, like I mentioned earlier, all the aliens they had in that prison broke out because you have 100 aliens in a prison. They just break out, and then they see the giant robot nut, and they tell the queen. And then that's when, Dr. Oaken, his gay lover, gets shot and killed, because that's a subplot that was added, too.
I love how you said added.
It was added.
Not dropped.
So the alien queen takes the robot thing, and she's, like, running off with her swarm. And then that's when Jake and Dylan are like, let's go faster, and then we'll get above the alien ships and fly down and shoot the shit out of her. And then lo and behold, it works, and they shoot the shit out of her.
From above!
From the windows! From the wall!
Oh, yeah. Did you notice that they went also from, like, a controlled dive to...
Flying?
Just flying normal, like nothing was wrong.
So they shoot her and they kill the alien, and then la-di-da! The day is saved with only minutes to go on the harvester drill. Because when the queen dies, everything dies. And this brings me to my greatest point. Movie writers. Fuck the hive mind. Fuck the hive mind. I don't want in any more science fiction or action movies when they kill the brain of the swarm. I don't want the swarm to just stop for nothing. It's stupid. It's the dumbest thing. In the first movie, they kill the mothership, and the other ships don't have shields anymore. They still fight back. That's the whole point of the first movie, is that they shoot the mothership, and then it's like, oh, because they shot the mothership, it's not projecting shields on any of the ships or their fighters. So then we could blow the shit up out of them.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point. It wasn't like we killed Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith killed the mothership and then the other ships just crashed.
No, or left.
Yeah, it's dumb because it's like the harvester could finish and then fly. Because immediately after it leaves, the giant robot nut tells us, oh, it got recalled by the other queens. It's like, well, then why didn't the other queens just finish the job? It was like 10 minutes away.
Yeah,
like that's less than an episode of like Mad Men or some shit. You could just like let that shit go.
Episode of Mad Men, but I don't know. Basically, I want to get to the end of this because we've harped on it quite a bit. But the end of this movie, Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh, do you want to tell them about the sequel setup?
Yes, I'm going to get into that. But when we win, did you think we were going to lose? I'm sorry. We won. Pretty easily, too, when you think about it.
Pretty easily.
Relatively. You know, when the whole universe is in danger and we win somehow, whatever.
Who cares?
But the thing is that this movie ends with Judd Hirsch and all the other actors, Jeff Goldblum, Jesse T. Usher, Bill Pullum, and William Fichtner, and Brent Spinner, who does Dr. Oaken. All of these actors end up sort of doing this Happy Days-esque end where everything just works out great. Now, I would equate it to a all dogs go to heaven sort of ending, or 101 Dalmatians, where it's just sort of like, hey, awful things happen, but you know what? We happen to be the nicest people in the world, so we're going to fix it and get over it.
I like that both your examples involve dogs.
Yes. Those are the only animated movies I will watch.
Those are the only movies I watch.
So it's a fetish.
That puts a whole new light.
Yeah, do it doggy style, you know what I mean? But anyway, so Judd Hirsch and all those kids. We didn't talk about this as that much earlier. But these kids basically in the discussion during this Jewish life lesson that he's doing, like, let's sit down and have a nush. They go, everybody I know and love is dead. And Judd Hirsch goes, oh, well, that's unfortunate. And then the very end of the movie, he goes, hey, you know, I mean, now that we fought the aliens together, I feel like I have a rapport with you kids. You know, why don't you just come and live with me for a while? And the kids go, yeah. That sounds like it would be great.
Not the bus full of kids, but the kids from the car. We should clarify.
Yeah, I guess.
He didn't just steal a bus.
But by the way, those kids just fucking vanished.
Yeah,
the bus full of kids, they didn't show up again. They were just gone.
Like one of the kids was taking a selfie in front of it, and that was the last we saw. In front of the
Oh, that's right. There was like a nerdy. Okay, yeah.
Because there's kids in selfies.
Jeff Goldblum, is that what? But is that supposed to do that?
Jeff Goldblum taking a selfie.
No, it's
I'm
not.
taking a selfie in front of the Queen.
So
this is how
Judd Hirsch does it. What's the main actress's name? Micah Monroe. How do you pronounce that?
I'd say Micah Monroe.
Micah Monroe. Okay, the daughter, Pullman's daughter, Whitmore's daughter. Sorry,
yeah. President
Whitmore's fucking daughter. Jesus. She crashes because the Queen at some point during the fucking fight slaps it down like a fucking volleyball, and she just gets out like, not a big deal. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
And I'm the best flyer in America apparently.
Nothing.
I haven't been flying this whole movie yet. I'm the victor of this. Then Liam Hemsworth, his plane also crashes in comedic fashion, and as he's coming through the mist, the daughter, Ms. Monroe, she shoots at him and narrowly shoots her own fiance like in the face. And he goes, babe, come and like make out with me.
Which I do like. We failed to mention that they're a couple, but that's how insignificant it was.
It really.
That's the lack of chemistry. Is that those two characters are like engaged to be married, and we straight up didn't even mention it because you don't even like. They just tell you that, and that's the last time you ever see chemistry until this scene where they start like eating each other's faces.
Yeah, and honestly, I'll say this: I do not like action movies that focus on a love interest.
Some Titanic did it, so it's like
now it's not even really with Titanic because some movies do it right. Born Ultimatum hit it off with this woman, but it wasn't like they're fucking throughout this movie. There was just sexual tension, and that's okay. But to focus on a love triangle of sorts, the way that they set it up, I'm not even kidding, the way that they set it up, before I knew that Liam Hemsworth's character nearly killed Jesse T. Usher's character in the movie, or Jake almost killed Dylan in the movie, I thought that Dylan slept with his girlfriend. That's the feeling I got before they ever said it. I thought that was what ruined the friendship. I fucking hate that guy, and I hate that guy because we see Dylan hug the girl, and she's really happy to see him, and then Liam Hemsworth, she's like, I saw that guy, and he goes, you saw that fucking guy? And it's like a reaction like, oh, that time when we broke up and you slept with that dude, you saw that fucking dude? That's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
And they set up this weird love triangle that really was just, it was a couple and then their buddy who shouldn't have been watching them. But anyways, they end up sucking face. The Asian pilot and the nerdy kind of semi-gay acting pilot land also, I don't fucking care. They land, and he goes, we should do that, like the making out or whatever. That was very Jewish. The making out, the making out and the kids and the love. Fuck it. So she goes, dinner first. And it's like, why is she into him now? Just because all this shit went down? It's not that exciting. So we have that resolution. The Jewish dad taking over the kids. By the way, what an insult to Jeff Goldblum. I just want some more kids because you don't pay attention to me. That's kind of what that said in the movie. It's like, you don't pay attention to me anymore, but these kids would love to live with me. I know everybody that they know is dead, but whatever. And it's okay. Oh yeah, you wanted me to get to the ball thing where they set up more movies. This is terrible. They set up more movies because that testicle
dangly parts.
Yep. Austin Powers joke. But the testicle basically is whispering to Dr. Oaken because it knows that it was rescued by him. She's like, "You're such a brave man." And he goes, "Are you okay, inanimate object?" And it goes, "I'm okay. Let me tell you everything you want to know about life, the universe, and what's to come." And then it whispers in his ear off in the distance, and they both just kind of hover over into the scene. And he goes, "Dude, we are part of a lot bigger, scheme here. This is not just between us and like Earth and this alien. There's like hundreds of galaxies that are involved in this shit, and they want us to be the people that help bring their alien robotic testicle world back from the dead."
It's like, we're so fun. Human beings are so awesome that we're going to lead the resistance to destroy these aliens.
Yeah. And then the doctor ends it with saying,
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. He just goes, "Man, with this kind of technology and all these things, we're going to kick some serious alien ass." Cut to black. That's the fucking movie. It's like, what? Listen, this movie seemed like the basic overall premise is there's a bunch of aliens. We're going to throw a lot of C-list actors at it, and hopefully they'll take care of it. We got more C-list actors than those fucking aliens do. It just wasn't, it wasn't good. Now, I know we ranted on that for quite a bit. So let me see. We are an hour and 40 minutes in. Something that this could go up to 2 hours, something like that, 2.5. But I wanted Alec to get a chance to speak on the Free State of Jones, and we won't talk about it as much because I haven't seen it, so it's all news to me. So here we go. Alec Brown.
Free State of Jones, for those who are unaware. Now, actually, I should clear. I'm just going to say the plot. So this is spoiler heavy, but I should say the trailers do not represent this movie at all. Here's the problem. So Free State of the Jones takes place from the Civil War through like the middle of the Civil War to the middle of Reconstruction. Now, for those who aren't big on their history or don't remember, Reconstruction was the very, very difficult, complex time after the Civil War where the South was getting rebuilt because guys if you ever heard of General Sherman's March to the Sea, which was this campaign of burning and pillaging through the American South that destroyed the South. Entire cities were gone. And these were huge cities. Massive cities were literally wiped off the map because of this. So the South was in all intents and purposes, a third world country during Reconstruction. And I harp on this because it's important to what I'm getting to. So Free State of Jones, it's about Matthew McConaughey plays this guy named, I want to say Nathaniel Knight or something. He essentially, his cousin or nephew or something dies, gets like just straight up shot and killed. And so he decides, I'm done with the war. Newton Knight, that's his character's name. So he decides, I'm done with the war, and I'm going to go home. So he's going to desert. Now, no one says anything. By the way, he gets his cousin's body on a mule and then just leaves, and no one does anything, which is fucking stupid. Because he goes from across several states to get home, which means like no one stopped him. You know, it's like this. The South was a draft, so it's some dude in his like, in his like 30s is what they kind of make him look like. Some guy in his 30s would not just be allowed to like wander through the South. They'd ask him like, "Why aren't you in the army, you dick?" Because everyone was in the army. So that's a problem to itself. So then he gets home and he starts helping some of his neighbors because the Confederates this is towards when they were running out of supplies. So they were taking a lot of the supplies of people. He's like, oh, I'm going to help you all protect what I can, and then it immediately turns into because he gets chased out of town by deserter hunters, which they were called like the Home Guard or something, but they were a unit of Confederate guys that rode around, essentially they were like a military police.
Yeah.
And so he gets chased, and then this character named Rachel, who is a slave woman, she helps him escape, and he hides out in the swamp with a bunch of other escaped slaves. And then he gets to know them, and he kind of gets, he's not like in favor of slavery, and he kind of recognizes early on this concept of poor men fight a rich man's war. And that's more his beef, is that he's kind of like, I think slavery's wrong because they're people and I've gotten to know them. But before, I left the war because I didn't want to fight for rich people. It had nothing to do. I didn't care about slaves until I actually met them. So
Fair enough.
He meets them, and there again. Now, number one, the first problem of this movie. As I'm going through the plot, I'm going to go through all the problems. The first problem is this movie is it jumps through time really bad, and if you don't see the little exposition text at the bottom, you will not realize how long it's been. So then,
at least it has exposition.
Yeah. So while Matthew McConaughey's hiding out, his wife, she takes their little baby son, like a 2-year-old, and she leaves, and she goes like away. And I only mention that because this is important later. So Matthew McConaughey, he's hiding out in this swamp for a long ass time. And then as time has gone by, more and more deserters have shown up because the war is going really bad. Mm-hmm. And he starts bringing them into the swamp.
Okay.
And so eventually they become this like small army hiding out in the swamp. And they're like stealing supplies and stuff. And they've built this little town. Now the black people are in their own little campsite segregated off to the side. Which, not to sound mean, but like it makes sense in this movie because, now actually I'll get to this now. This is another problem in the movie. At first, it seems like they're going to be kind of accurate, which is the white people leaving the Confederacy still did not like black people. They were still racist. They really didn't care if these people were slaves or not. I know lots of people argue this, but for the fighting man, the Civil War was not about slavery. It was about the potential destruction of an entire lifestyle and economy.
Yeah.
It's so, and I'm a big, my dad instilled this on me. I'm a big guy on the Civil War.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the thing is, Civil War was really complex. It's not near as simple as a lot of people like to act like it is. So then as time goes by, Matthew McConaughey kind of starts getting them to fight. So then we immediately jump ahead and they take over this town with like 100 men. You're like, where? Like, if this was like 2 months, those 2 months are more important than where you are right now because he has like 100 more men than what he did. Like, where did these people come from? Like, that's more important. So then they take over a town. They take over like the town where Matthew McConaughey was like from.
Now, is this where in the trailers where he's just like, we're calling it a free state of Jones? Okay.
Yes.
Because it looked like it had a lot of people
and
there.
So they've run off the slave owner who was like the very stereotypical, evil, douchey, rapey slave owner. By the way, second problem in this movie and movies in general. You know, I know you filmmakers want to portray the slave owners as evil. You guys are trying way too hard. We don't need the cartoony evil guys anymore. Like, no one besides real racists don't acknowledge these were bad people who ignored decency and turned a blind eye to it for profit.
Well, wait. Well, what's something that what came to your mind when you were saying that? Because they some people who are watching this haven't seen it.
Well,
like I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, in the sense of like they're always like very smug and smirking and.
Well, yeah, are they twirling their mustaches?
Pretty much, yeah.
You Negroes need
pretty
to get
much.
back to
They're
the
like
fields.
you know, in Django Unchained, the dude that has Bible verses on him.
Yeah.
They're like that, but serious. You know, where it's like I'm weird and zany and cartoony, and I make my slaves do weird stuff. And then there's always the slave rape thing. And okay, I know it happened. It still was not that prevalent.
Yeah, well,
it really wasn't. And the thing is, this is the thing. You don't need that to make someone evil. If you're going to have him like, oh, I'm going to rape this character, it's like, you don't need that. We already understand he's evil, and you're just wasting our time on a plot thread that you're not going to follow up on.
Okay, that part, I was waiting for you to say that, because, like, I don't mind if they do it. What?
Did you pass me that?
Oh, this?
Yes.
Okay. Woo. But, because if it's essential to the story, you know, it's sort of like in 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
One of the best scenes in 12 Years a Slave is when that, the woman who won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Is it Naomi?
I think so, yeah.
I can't remember her last name. But amazing actress, but she gave this amazing performance while she was getting whipped, and it was terrible, but it was kind of crucial to her character and everything.
Yeah.
And how, you know, because you're seeing this beautiful woman just get completely torn down. Because in most of the time in slave movies, you're used to seeing men getting whipped a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you even see that in that Birth of a Nation. You see that in 12 Years a Slave. You see that in Django Unchained. It's mostly men. You don't see women getting whipped nearly as much because they would usually get sexually abused.
Yeah.
Or that would just be, you know, they would be abused but not whipped would be different. Because if you whipped them too hard, then they couldn't then do basic tasks. And also, they were usually for show.
Yeah.
So it's like they would be picking cotton and stuff, but they would also kind of like in Django.
Or you have them in your house.
Yeah, like in Django, they could be like your prostitutes, you know, like kind of like concubines, like around.
Yeah. But my point is, it's like if you're going to do a rape, like subplot or something, you have to follow through. 12 Years a Slave is a good example. In 12 Years a Slave, when they do terrible things to a character, that changes the character.
Yeah, it's an essential part.
We feel it, and then we immediately see the aftermath and the change.
Well, yeah, and because that's a unique story in the sense, though, because this guy wasn't a slave. Because and I think that's why they tend to drop it quite a bit when they do have these problems, is because they go, yeah, in 12 Years a Slave, we have to explain a lot of that stuff and follow up on it, because that's what changes this man's view of society. It makes him truly appreciate the slave experience.
Yeah.
And changes how he views white people, and arguably makes him more racist and prejudicial and terrified of white people. And you can understand why somebody like him would then teach his kids, you know, you're never safe, you know, and then perpetuate it.
Yeah, and it's just, but it's like a real visceral experience. Whereas in this one, it's like, oh, he kind of, I guess he raped her off screen, and then that Matthew McConaughey burned all his cotton. And it's like, really? That's the best we can do with this? Like, because I'm going to get into this too. Like, when they run these guys out of town, they don't burn down his house. Like, that was my thought. I thought, oh, they're going to run him out of town, and then they're going to destroy his plantation. And that'll be his comeuppance, is they're going to destroy everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they don't. And not to mention, I'm going to get to this later. Why I know why in the production they did not destroy that house. So I'll get to that in a second. So moving on. So they've taken Jones. They made a big hubbub about it. Immediately after, like 5 minutes later, they just decide, a bunch of people are like, oh, the South is going to come back and take this town. We're going to fuck off.
What? Oh, so you're talking about white people?
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, we're going to go home.
Did any black people leave?
Well, there was only like 6 black people. They
Oh.
barely have black people. It's like almost none of them. There's like the guys from the woods, and that's it.
I see.
And which great performance from some of them. Like there's a guy, it's Mahershala Ali, who plays Moses. By far one of the most interesting characters in the movie, and they never do anything with him. It's horrible because he's really interesting. Like he gets really interesting because he's like fighting with them, but he understands the world so well.
Yeah.
So jumping ahead. Now, here comes my second problem. This movie has horrendous plot holes, just like Independence Day. So when they took Jones, Matthew McConaughey killed this like Confederate captain or like commander something.
Yeah.
He was some rank, and he was this kind of like red-haired, dirty-looking motherfucker. And
Yeah.
he gets killed. So we cut, like a jump cut, after he's like, this is the free state of Jones. Ah. Jump cut to this house. And the little text at the bottom says Confederate Headquarters, Alabama. It's a house, and the commander who he murdered is on a table. So here's the problem. They're in Georgia. This is in Alabama. So they never explain who these Confederate guys are that are looking at this body. They don't explain why their headquarters is a fucking house. It is just a house. It's not like a fort. It's not like a furnished building. It's just a house. A kind of small house. And they have his body laid out on the dining room table. Which is like, how did you get the body? Did Matthew McConaughey turn over the body? Did they cart the fuck? They killed all the soldiers in Jones.
I don't know.
So did they cart the body to the edge of Jones County and just dump it? There you go. So it's like, why is he there? And then there's a guy who's not named. They're like, oh, did you hear he was dead? Yeah, this guy's took over Jones County. It's weird, right? They're just nonchalantly talking about this. And then a character does this. He gets right, camera's right close, like here. And he's like, they have taken over Jones County. We must take it back. Just deadpan. Just deadpan face. And it's like, who the hell are you?
We must take it back. I'm the father of the producer.
It's not even a southern accent. It's just like this like British almost accent.
We must take it back.
And it's just like, yeah, no, you gave more emotion in that than him. He just delivers the lines in the worst way possible.
Take it back.
And it's like, and then there's a cutaway shot of soldiers walking, and it's black and white, and it goes, they sent 1,000 men towards Jones County, and just like text. And it's like,
that's weird.
Yeah. So
wait, is there a narrator?
No, it's just text.
Okay.
They sent 1,000 men to Jones
All the
County.
yeah.
Stupid. So essentially, that never comes up. Never. Like Matthew McConaughey and the black girl Rachel, who they're like having a romance now. Now they're fucking. And they go back to the swamp with like a handful of people. And then we just cut to like the end of the Civil War. like literally, there is black and white pictures. Like, by the way, these pictures that they have in this movie, there's a couple other times they use black and white photos of the Civil War. They are from the National Archive. You could go right now to the National Archives website and get all these pictures for free. They don't cost a thing. They are public domain pictures. And they're like, the Battle of blank happened. This happened. And then it's like, then Matthew McConaughey is just at a field, and it's like the Emancipation Proclamation got signed and the slaves are free. And before we can even deal with the slaves being freed, which is like the slaves are freed, and then Moses' family, whom earlier he told us his family was sold and shipped to Texas, they just come running up through a field to meet him. And it's like, how did they get from Texas? Texas isn't even part of the United States right now.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't
Like how did they get from Texas? Never explained. So then we cut again, jump ahead, and now the Civil War is over. Abraham Lincoln is dead, and we're like, it's like Abraham Lincoln died off screen, and that's not even mentioned. It's just like, oh, now we're ahead, and now it's the new president before Grant. It's like his vice president taking over.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, you know that 40 acres and a mule and all the Reconstruction policies of Lincoln? I'm not going to do them. Sad. And then the black guys are like, wait, so you're telling me I don't get anything? And the guy's like, yeah. And it's like, wait, are you telling me that they said we don't get anything anymore? And they're like, yes. And he's like, wait, are you telling me that we're not getting the 40 acres and a mule? It's like, yes, they lied to you. The white people, like you've met, like all the white people you've ever met besides Matthew McConaughey are kind of racist. I don't know why you're surprised anymore.
Yeah, I mean.
So then Matthew McConaughey and the black people go to this area of Georgia where it's all just shitty. That's really what it is. It's like, oh, you're going up to that area where the land is just shitty for no reason? It's like, yes, it's really shitty up there, but we'll make a living. And then it proceeds to like Matthew McConaughey and the black people do stuff, and then the Klan shows up and burns something. And then Matthew McConaughey and they do stuff, and then the Klan shows up and burns something. And they never go into the Klan, and they never deal with the Klan. It's just a cutaway shot of fuckers on horses in white sheets.
Now, tell me, how far through the movie are you now?
We are about 2/3 through right now.
Okay.
Because there's a subplot I haven't talked about.
Okay, well, I'll say this: we're at 2 hours now, so
I can finish in time.
Okay, well, don't make it right on the nose though, because I want to close it up.
All right. So essentially, now there again, Moses is having the interesting storyline in this because he's going around and trying to sign up black people to vote, and he gets murdered, and it's like this sad moment, and it's like there was our character. That was the best part, was him dealing with Reconstruction and all the racist policies as a black man. I don't give a fuck about Matthew McConaughey. So then Matthew McConaughey's wife shows back up, his first wife, and he's already married Rachel unofficially. So he's got 2 women living in his house, and they do say like, oh, well, he actually still only fucks Rachel. He doesn't fuck his first wife. And then pretty much after that, nothing happens in the movie ends. So this comes to the last point. The director of this did not know what story they wanted to tell. There are 3 stories that are not told in this, that are started and not told. Number 1, the Civil War. Number 2, Reconstruction. And number 3, and this was one I hadn't talked about till now, there's peppered throughout the movie, there's this plot going on where the descendants of Newton Knight, his like great-great-great-great-great-grandson, is like on trial in Georgia because he's might be 1/8 black, and they can't let him marry a white woman even though he's white. Mm-hmm. Which makes no sense because he looks absolutely white. So,
But you admitted something. That's sort of like saying you're like 1/8 gay.
yeah, it's done. Well, it's done because it doesn't explain how they knew he was 1/8 black or why anyone gave a shit because he looks white as the day is sunny. Like, he literally does. He just looks like a white guy. It's not in any way like he doesn't look in any way black. He doesn't look any. He doesn't even.
Yeah,
have a
but it's just like if you told people stuff. It's like there was a rumor going around at the time that you were, I don't know, some other thing. Like if you were like a Chinese immigrant working on the Transcontinental Railroad or something.
Yeah.
They would have been like, oh man, he's like half Chinese, but he looks white. And they're like, can't trust him then.
It's stupid because the reason why he wants to tell that storyline, the director, is he wants to do this. Well, white people, what if this happened to you? Isn't it so racist? And it's like, we already know. We know the South was racist up until the fucking, 90s, you know? It's like, we know there was lots of racist problems. We know. You don't need this storyline. You literally don't, because it doesn't get resolved. He just, essentially at the end, he just goes, oh, I'm not going to divorce my wife because I love her. And it's like, fucker, you could have just gone to Canada. Like, you have a car. Like, you could just leave.
What year is this?
It's like in the fucking 50s.
Oh.
It's like, fucker, you have a car. We saw you in it. You could just drive to another state. Like, you don't have to take this.
So how long
Just
is
like divorce? It's like you could just divorce your wife and both of you get in a car and go 2 states forward and get married again. It's stupid. They don't explain why he's there, and that's the problem. It's just you don't. It's all it is just to attack to go. Hey, audience, what if this happened to you? It's like, no, we already know how bad racism is. You don't have to explain anymore. Like, if you write a character that we care about, like Moses.
Yeah.
I care more about the persecution of Moses
in this movie.
In this movie than this white guy in the 50s. We don't care, you know?
I agree that it's see, I didn't know that the film was going to take that route.
Mm-hmm.
And how long is Matthew McConaughey in this movie? Just
he's in it all the time, and he gives speeches, and they're awful.
Yeah, okay.
But see, the thing is if you want to tell a movie about the Civil War and liberating Jones, just make that movie. That's a 2-hour movie. If you want to do it about Reconstruction, that's a 2-hour movie. But to have 3 2-hour movies in one, all you're doing is you're not spending enough time on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, that's the problem, is it doesn't spend any time on anything, so nothing matters. And that's the thing with Free State Jones. That's its big problem. It just literally just dicks around trying to tell you all this shit. And, it kind of goes to this thing with directors who try and make historical movies have to know about the history. They have to. Because if this guy had known about the history of this character, of the Civil War, then he would have realized, oh, I can just make it about Reconstruction and literally get all the same points. Mm-hmm. Like, Reconstruction has everything. It has the whole, persecution of race, the systemic racism that didn't die out in the Civil War, the Klan. It has the whole interracial marriage thing. You could even do the whole, he's part white, and he looks white, no one cares. You could have done that too, and all of those could have been hit. But this director just doesn't know anything, and it's just like, man, I want to, make this movie show how bad racism is. And that's something that bugs. I hate that, because it's really just shows you don't care. You just want to make your movie, and you don't want to make the movie on the page.
Yeah, I agree. And so what I'm going to do is, since we are getting closer to the end, I'm going to shamelessly kind of plug a couple of things. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to give a few shout outs to some people before I start wrapping up the show.
because I have it scheduled for 2.5 hours. But why push it? We rambled quite a bit. So so I wanted to thank Sam Cartman, Lady Squee, Timo30, Amy K, The Soiled Knight, Sir Erlich von Liechtenstein, Phil the Issues Guy, Joe Dirty Locks, Katie Crow, Corey Mitchell, Al Red Sox, it's me, KLC, Miss Misty, Miss Cheeky's Heart, and many, many more of you guys. If I missed you, don't worry. I'll make it up to you. I promise. If you want to watch more videos from me, if you really like my stuff, subscribe to my stuff. Subscribe to my channel, The Walking David. You can also, if you have Twitter, I'm at David Grayson, all lowercase, all one word. I also have a Facebook. If you want to add me on Facebook, feel free. I'll post some links below here in a little bit. This is my buddy Alec Brown. If you really like Alec and in this review and you like his rants and stuff and you want to hear more of his movie reviews and some of these kind of podcast things, I've done several on his show. And his channel is called BrownCast Ultra.
BrownCast is one word, space ultra.
Yeah. And do you have a Twitter account?
I do, but I don't remember what it is. I think it's at BrownCast Ultra.
I'm pretty sure it's
probably at BrownCast.
It was a rhetorical question. I knew it. All right. It's at BrownCast Ultra. Alec has worked on a lot of stuff with me. I enjoy working with him a lot. We've done some podcasts together, some short films together. It's always a pretty good time, and we like making these things for you guys. And I thought, for my first ever live stream, why do it by myself? Might as well have my buddy here. And we even did it at his place.
And my terrible apartment.
It's okay. People will come to love it. Maybe not. But people, it was a blast as always. If you saw me looking at my phone, that was mostly just because I was trying to figure out the problems with the chat. But don't worry, the next time I'll definitely have that all sorted out to where I can see your live comments and I can react to everything that you say. And I might be by myself. I might be here with Alec or even somebody else. I know that a couple of people have expressed interest in wanting to do podcasts with me as well. And I might, if I'm lucky, Phil said he would be up for it, get Phil the Issues Guy to come on in here. And that would be awesome because I always love talking with him. And might as well return the favor, right? I've been on like 3 or 4 of his things. So thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of The Walking David. And I hope you enjoyed the review. And I will catch you later, all right? Woo. Peace, guys. Alec Brown, BrownCast Ultra. Watch that shit. All right?
David Grayson, this channel.
Yeah. Subscribe, please. Don't fucking do it.
David Grayson.